Hey guys, thanks for joining us at ArtSphere. In today's lesson, we're going to take a look at how chords are made. Now, this is going to go into a little bit of music theory, but don't let that scare you. It's nothing too big. At most, we're literally just counting from like 1 to 7. So we're going to be taking a look at what makes a chord a chord. So let's get started. So the first thing we got to get out of the way is the question, like, what are chords? Well, a chord is just basically any collection of 3 notes or more. Now, if we're talking about the chords that we use, there are a couple of things we have to explore first. And the first thing we have to talk about is our major scale. You might know as like the do, re, mi, fa, sol, so like C major scale, so. And basically, we're going to use these to put together our chords. So the first thing we're going to do is just figure out how to form a C major scale. So the C major scale, or any major scale really, all major scales follow the same formula. You start on your root, which is the first note, so C. You go up a half step, or 2 frets, so D. Another whole step, E. A half step now, F. A whole step, G. Another whole step, A. Another whole step, B. And then a half step, back to C. So the formula for any major scale is whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. And basically, if you start on any note, you can have a major scale. So for example, let's take A, right? So we start on A. We start on A, so we have A, and then a whole step from A is B. Another whole step from B is not C, but actually C sharp. And then from C sharp, our half step, we go to D, and then we go whole step to E, then another whole step to F sharp, and then another whole step to G sharp, and then we go right back to A with our half step. And basically using these, we can put together any major chord. Now the way we do that is that we can take for example, our A major chord, and we're gonna label each of these notes and have them correspond with a number. So starting from A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8 or 1 because they're the same note. It's just that one is higher than the other. So we'll label that like 1/8 or so. Now basically the way we put together a chord is just taking 3 notes or more. So so if we take a chord that has 3 notes, we're gonna call that a triad. So here's an example, right? Our C major chord. Our C major chord is this, right? Now, what is that made out of? Well, we know that this is C, we know that this is E, we know that the open string is G, so we have 3 notes, C, E, G. And you might ask yourself, but you're playing 5 strings. You might ask me, you're playing 5 strings. Well, yes, I'm playing 5 strings, but in reality, I'm only playing 3 notes. So it's C, E, G, back to C, and then back to E. So even though I'm playing 5 strings, I'm technically still playing 3 notes. Now, what are these 3 notes that make up a major triad though? So let's go back to our A major scale, for example, right? So we have A as our root note. That's called the root, which is number 1. So let's take A for example, right? And then we count up to 3. 1, 2, 3. So this is called the major third. Now, the major third for the A major scale is C sharp. So we take our A and then we add our C sharp. So C is over here, C sharp's right there. Then we take our 5th and we put that there, which is our E. So any major chord, is put together with the root, the major third, and the 5th. And it sounds like this. Now, to make minor chords, we just have to drop that major third and make it a minor third, because the third is what gives these chords their sound, their color. You know, it's what changes from happy with major to sad with minor. So here's what I want you to do to just kind of practice this, you know. We're just gonna practice putting together a major scale on a piece of paper. So just grab a piece of paper and a pen, and let's do like a G major scale, for example. So we'll start on our root, which is G. And then we go to our whole step up. So that's 2 frets up on the guitar. So that's the second note is A. So it's G, A, and then we go another whole step up, that's B. And then we go to our half step, which is now C. Back to a whole step, which is now D. Another whole step, which is E. Then another whole step, which is F sharp. And then a half step, which brings us back to G, just up here now. To think about how we would put together a major chord with the information I've told you. So we know that the major chord needs a root, a major third, which is already in our major scale, and then our fifth. So if we count, our root is G, our third is actually B, and then our fifth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is D. So a G major chord is G, B, and D. So if we were to put that together, G, B, and then D. So really, these top three strings, when I put my second finger on the third fret of the sixth string and my first finger on the second fret of the A string and just let D ring out, if I play these three notes, this is technically a G major chord. You might be more familiar with seeing it like this, but if you were to actually go out and pick out each note, you would pull out a G, a B, and a D. Now I want you to go and practice with the other letters of the alphabet. So the other letters of the musical alphabet, obviously, so A through G. Now, so for example, start off on D, right? If we start off on D, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. So, how do we put together a D major chord? Try it out. Now that you've practiced putting together major chords, try putting together a minor chord. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna take our major chord, so like the one I just told you to do, like D for example. So D is D, A, and F sharp. Now which one's the major third? It's the F sharp. So what do? We just lower our major third to a minor third. So we go from F sharp to F. Now it sounds sad. I want you to just practice using each of the major scales, putting together the major chord for that scale, and then just dropping the major third. Figure out which one's the major third, and just make it minor by moving one fret down for that one note. Anyways, guys, that was our lesson for today, putting together major and minor chords, and then learning the major scale as well. So just practice putting together chords, have fun with it. And if you look online, there are different ways to put together even more chords using the same formula. And really all you need to do to put together a chord is to be able to count from 1 to 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that's pretty much it. Just understand that in a major scale, the notes correspond with like a number. So like a root is number 1, and then you just count up from there. But yeah, have fun putting together major and minor chords. And you can just experiment. Once you like realize where the notes are on the fretboard, you can put together a lot of different chords, like all around the neck. But yeah, that's the lesson. Thanks for joining us at ArtSphere. Have a good week.